Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, February the 8th. I really appreciate you joining us today. We'll be joined by our West Virginia DNR director and everything. His name is Brett McMillian, and Brett will be announcing some winners, and basically our drawing, on lots and lots of really great stuff and everything that we did, on people that bought their hunting and fishing license in December. And Brett will give us a whole lot more great information on that. Listen, today is a really, really good day, and I think it's wonderful that the Senate, finally has come up and come to us with their plan. It's got a lot of really good points. I salute, our Senate President, President Blair, and all the great senators that got on board and everything for this effort, because it will be a monumental effort. Now, we've got to do some vetting, and we've got to do some work on it and everything, and we surely will all do that. And the House, I'm sure, will come in, and they'll have ideas as well as their own. But I think if we can absolutely just remember just one thing, you'll never hear from me, no way, that the plan that's put forth, forward right now is dead on arrival or sarcastic type things. We embrace this. This is great news and everything, and it can be. There's lots and lots of real goodness in this plan, the way I see it. But we absolutely have got to always remember all the goodness that's going on in our House. I mean, the House really came on board immediately and everything with doing substantial tax relief for the people of West Virginia, and we want to salute that. But we want to thank all the senators that came on board here and everything. It's good stuff. It's really, really good stuff. So now we sit down to do our real business, and we negotiate back and forth, and we come to something that really, really is just terrific for our people. This is really good news. Great stuff. And so thank you to the Senate. Thank you especially to our Senate President, President Blair. Really good stuff. This is just an announcement that on Monday, February 13th, there's a gentleman, you've probably seen him all across the national media and everything. His name is Grover Norquist, and Grover is coming down to talk to us about cutting taxes in West Virginia. He's really excited about doing that. He's the founder and president of Americans for Tax Reform. He is absolutely such a learned resource and everything. I've talked with him on the phone. He wanted to come down and everything. And so he'll be here on Monday, February 13th. And at Monday at noon, we'll hold a roundtable discussion with Grover Norquist and at the State Cultural Center. And from that, we'll invite the public to come in and watch the discussion and everything. And you'll hear more details from my office real soon about this. But we're really excited he's going to come down. Now, we had a high train derailment right on the border, right up in the northern panhandle, and from that standpoint, there were chemicals that went into the Ohio River. Immediately, the people of Weirton acted promptly and everything to basically shut down and transform over to an alternate supply source for their water. There was no, in an abundance of caution, they moved prudently and quickly and everything. And literally this was done with an abundance of caution and everything. We had a lot of people jump in, whether it was our DEP or the Emergency Management Division, the DHHR, the National Guard, all began offering support, help immediately and everything. So we're working on it and everything. We feel like everything is fine here, but at the same time, we'll give you more details as we move forward. Again, we want to thank our National Guard. Our National Guard stepped up with, they have means that are unbelievable. I mean, they have the ability to work on things like, domestic chemicals, the biological situation, radiological and nuclear stuff and everything. So all kinds of different things that they have such an expertise, and they just jumped right in immediately and helped us. We thank our National Guard on and on and on for all the great work they do on everything. And now I'm going to bring on, our director of the DNR, Brett McMillian, and Brett is going to talk to us about these wonderful giveaways on the folks that stepped up and bought their hunting and fishing licenses for this coming year in 2023, and they bought them in December. So thank you so much, Brett, and come on and talk to us.
All right. Well, thank you, Governor, and thank you again for your support in this program. This lifetime license giveaway, it is such a special thing. I will say, too, that the number of prizes this year, and it is our 4th annual, as you mentioned earlier, I think this list of prizes is probably the most extensive we've had. We did have over 21,000 license sales in the month of December, so there were a lot of folks that were able to possibly partake and win these gifts. The lifetime license, and I'd like to say just real quick, sometimes we may not always realize the importance of those things, but I can tell you my story. When I was 15, my grandfather bought mine for me, and I didn't realize at the time that it was going to turn into such a lifelong love of the outdoors. But I can tell you now, every time I go hunting, I still think about him and the memories that we have in our outdoors. So having said all that, let me jump right in, and let's start with our grand prize winner for the Resident Hunting, Trapping, and Fishing Lifetime License. That winner is Michaelia Johnston out of Fayetteville, West Virginia. Congratulations, Michaelia. This will be awesome. Now, we will have our DNR staff reach out to you, so we will make contact very soon to get this prize awarded to you. Next up, I'd like to move to the Resident $200 West Virginia State Park gift card winners. Kaylin Weaver out of West Columbia, West Virginia. Brian Cole out of Martinsburg. Jillian Wines out of Weston. And Natalie Remius out of Valley Fork. That's a $200 West Virginia State Park gift card. And I tell you, with all the improvements that our governor's funded and put into our system, you're really going to be able to enjoy that and see some awesome facilities. Next up, our resident West Virginia DNR gift bag winners. Bobby Jarvis from Chloe, West Virginia. Amanda Beveridge of Valley Head. Kevin Lockhart of Ripley. Kyle Robinson of Craigsville. Justin Blake of Washington. Jeremiah Tackett of Danville, Ethan Kesner of Moorfield, and Kyle Schrader of Parkersburg. You'll pick up the gift bag that we put together, and that's a great little swag bag that you'll be receiving. Let's move on to our non-resident license sales and prizes. The first is a big one, Pipestem Resort State Park 3-night stay and 2 Pipestem Peak Zipline Tour tickets. If you've not had the opportunity to see or ride that zip line, wow, you're in for something very special. And that winner is Paul Frame out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. Congratulations, Paul. We'll be reaching out soon. Other non-resident winners, we have a 2-night stay at Watauga State Park, and that's going to go to Rachel Barges from Annapolis, Maryland. Congratulations, Rachel. Watauga is such a beautiful park and one of our showcase areas. 2-night stay at Bluestone State Park goes to William Tobias out of Peoria, Illinois. Congratulations, William. Seneca State Forest 2-night stay. Man, I'd probably plan that during hunting season if it were me. Anyway, Natasha Dinsmore, Belafonte, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Natasha. And then finally, the last 2-night winner will go to Blackwater Falls Resort State Park. Scott Hargrove from North Lawrence, Ohio. Congratulations to that group, and you'll really have great times at those parks. They're special places. Next up, our non-resident gift bag winners. Stephen Williams out of Leesville, South Carolina. Andrew Rice out of Statesville, North Carolina. Ethan Adkins out of Belfry, Kentucky. Ivan Bryant out of Destin, Florida. Sabrina Evans out of Hatfield, Kentucky. Shayna Dove out of Timberville, Virginia. Mark Hardgrove out of Conyers, Georgia. And Craig Harley out of Pennington, New Jersey. Congratulations to all you. We'll be in touch real soon and get those bags coming. And Governor, I just noticed reading through this list, man, we've got a great representation of states that have citizens buying West Virginia licenses. That's awesome. So thank you again for your support in this program, and I look forward to many more. Thank you for what you do for us. No,
Director, thank you, and the word is surely out. just how unbelievable this state is. The beauty abounds beyond belief in every way and everything, but our waters and our woods are really, really special. And so we welcome all those folks from out of state. We congratulate all the winners in state and out of state, and thank you for all you do every day, Brett. I've got another really neat announcement here. You know, the Trout Run Bridge, absolutely, that is a rail line from Cass to Durbin in Pocahontas County, is now open. 4 years of cooperative work between the West Virginia Division of Highways, the Durbin and Greenbrier Valley Railroad, and the State Rail Authority. This is so neat. This is 15 miles, that the railway now will be open. This will drive more and more tourism to West Virginia. It is something that we should be so proud of our Department of Transportation for accomplishing. Not many people think that our Department of Transportation is out working on a railroad bridge, but nevertheless, these folks, because they had to rail in to the work site, and to do that, these folks work 12 and 14 hours days in probably a lot of inclement weather, and we absolutely are so proud of them. And the CAST intends to start running excursion trains over the newly reopened line this spring. So that's really great stuff and everything. A lot of great work, and I'll promise you the beauty that is absolutely going to be seen here is second to none. Absolutely, you ought to come and take those excursions and absolutely enjoy, because this will be really, really, really special. Last night, our president delivered his State of the Union address, and to be perfectly honest, he encouraged, that wanting both sides of the aisle to work together. I applaud him over and over and over for that. There's still lots and lots and lots that needs to be done, in regard to inflation or crime or drugs coming across the border, energy independence. There's still a lot of meat and potatoes. But we absolutely should always be respectful to the President of the United States and how great this country truly is. I hope that you watched the rebuttal by Sarah Huckabee Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I think that's her last name. But I've met her 2 or 3 different times. But her rebuttal last night talked about something that happened in Iraq, and it happened. She said the best experience. She said she spent 2.5 years. Every foreign affairs trip that the president went on, President Trump, every one she was on. The one that stands out the most in her mind, and if you haven't seen this, I want you to listen to me just a second, but was a December 25th trip. Basically, at that point in time, word came down, I think, to her. She was at her house and everything with 3 kids. Her family, she has 3 kids and everything. There was wrapping paper, she said, stuffed in every corner of the house and everything, where they'd been opening their presents and everything. And then she got word that she had to be at the airport, not long. So she ends up at the airport. She said no lights whatsoever on Air Force One, no lights on the runway. Absolutely. I think she said that they took their phones and their computers and absolutely boarded the plane. Now, when they did so, they flew 12 hours and landed in Iraq. And the only thing they could see is about a mile away, they could see the lights at a place, because, again, no lights on Air Force One, no lights on the runway when they landed, and absolutely they could see lights off in the distance, and they knew that's where the troops were having Christmas dinner. No one knew, she said, no one. And literally, all of a sudden now, here's the President of the United States and the First Lady walking in to those troops. She said the whole room erupted. Many, had to be Democrats, Republicans, black, white, maybe come from wealthy or really poor families, Asian, whatever it may be. but the whole room immediately erupted in the chant, USA, USA. She said it was the most perfect moment of all, because at that point in time, you could see how everybody bonded together for freedom, because we are the most free country in the whole world. You know, at that moment, it was the perfect moment. She said, and then one of the servicemen stood up and yelled, "Mr. President, I re-enlisted because of you." And the president immediately yelled back, "And I'm here because of you." You know, I don't know how that doesn't send cold chills all over you, and just absolutely makes us all know just how great and how blessed we are to live in this country. Absolutely, it is really, really something. So I congratulate our president on delivering his State of the Union address, and absolutely we want nothing but successes for all in this country. Got a lot of work still to do, but I congratulate. I guess the only thing I have, boy, I tell you, is to pivot away from that to this is really a pivot. But you know, Jordan, let me ask you this real quick and everything. You know, I'll just pivot straight to this. We won't have any more briefings between now and the Super Bowl. And Baby Dog always gives you her prediction of the outcome of the Super Bowl. 2 years ago, she almost nailed the score right on the money. And last year, if you bet on the game, she at least covered your bet. I think Cincinnati was getting 3 points. The final score was 30-28 Rams. But you know, so if you're betting on the game and enjoying that, like lots and lots and lots of folks in West Virginia, at least she covered you last year. Now, so from this year's standpoint, you know, I've got her here with me, and Chris, come over on this side, please. Come here, girl. I want to give you a prediction. Just set her right there. All right. Now, she's been laying back here snoozing behind me. But here's her prediction. And for those of you that are Eagle fans, she's saying she's sorry for you. The final score per Baby Dog is going to be, and here's her deal, 41 Kansas City, 27 Philadelphia. Kansas City by 14, that's Baby Dog's prediction. So anyway, y'all enjoy the Super Bowl. You know, we're so blessed in this country, absolutely, to have all the things that we have, especially our freedoms. It is really, really, really special. Enjoy. God has given you the ability to smile and laugh, and there's things on this journey that are tough for all of us. Remember that. And absolutely today, we thank the Senate. We thank the Senate in many, many ways. We thank President Blair for coming to us with the proposal. And absolutely, it's got a lot of really good stuff in it. Now that we've got to get everybody on board and everything and get to a compromise or get to a solution here. But we really thank him and everything, and thank all the senators that jumped on board and really tried to help and everything, because now we're on a pathway to put real meaningful money right back into people's pockets, and I know you'll do the right thing with it. So God bless each and every one of you. Good day. Baby Dog, 41, Kansas City, Philadelphia, 27. God bless you.
All right, thank you, Governor and Baby Dog. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today is from Brad McElhenney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Thanks for the opportunity. It's very timely. Governor, when you've talked about your tax proposal, you've described wanting a tax cut that really makes a mark nationally to lure people to live in West Virginia. Based on what you know about the Senate's proposal right now, what will your opening position be when you gather with them to negotiate over breakfast tomorrow? Thank you.
Well, Brad, you know me, I don't dodge any questions and everything, but I don't want to come out and you know, and start coming with negotiations and stuff like that until we look a little deeper into the plan and everything. We really need to see, you know, all the verbiage and everything, you know, of what the plan's really all about and everything. But it's got a lot of good stuff in it, and you know, I do really believe that the best way we can drive more and more folks to West Virginia is go as big as we can possibly go in regard to our state income tax. But this does things, you know, that we ought to look at. We ought to look really hard at and everything. I mean, this absolutely addresses the car tax issue, which, you know, that I came up with, you know, way back when in it, and that's help in regard to that. But the House, you know, absolutely, we should give so much respect to the House, and you know, and Leader Householder has campaigned for a reduction in the state income tax forever and a day. We've not done this kind of stuff since 1987. You know, we have finally got this state really moving in a great way. What we want to do is we want to pull the rope together. And so you know, I salute, you know, Speaker Hanshaw, you know, absolutely our finance chair, Vernon Chris, all the people at the House, you know, that, you know, Leader Householder and I guess the Deputy, you know, Speaker, you know, Doc Robach and everything. But I just, you know, but along with that, really right this minute, I am absolutely delighted, you know, that to see the good work the Senate's come to the table with. These are good people. I mean, for crying out loud, we don't need to be casting rocks at these people. You know, the President of the Senate, you know, has done really good, and we thank President Blair, and we thank all the senators that got on board and really brought us something here that we can go to work on now, and we'll come with a plan that absolutely, at the end of the day, puts meaningful money right back into people's hands, and I you know, I just know in my heart that we're on a pathway now that someday we'll celebrate in West Virginia the elimination of the state income tax, and that'll be a good day. But you can't get there unless you make the first step. So I'm really happy.
All right, thanks, Brad. Next to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media. All right, Mark, you coming on there? All right, we'll come back to Mark. He's having trouble unmuting. Let's go to John Mark Shaver with WV News.
Good morning, Governor. You mentioned a couple of times today about liking the tax plan, the proposed tax plan. I know you said you didn't want to go into the negotiation side of it, but could you go a little bit more in depth with the specific things you do like that are in the plan? Thanks.
You know, Mark, I don't want to dodge anything. I really don't. But it, I guess the fairest and the best way to look at this is to just give us just a little bit of time. You know, we've had this for 45 minutes or an hour. You know, I haven't seen the final verbiage at all. You know, all of us love to be able to find ways and everything to help our small businesses or help people that, you know, are seniors or whatever. You know, car tax has always been an issue and everything, but you know, the right thing to do is recognize first and foremost the great work the House has done. You know, they have done so good. They've worked so hard, but it's finally great to see, you know, a reaction from the Senate side that basically says, you know, to some level here, we're on board. We're on board. Instead of just this friction and all that stuff, we don't need that. We don't need that and everything. Absolutely, you know, And on top of all that, the one thing that is really neat to me is we've been able to keep local control with our counties. Not deplete their funds and keep local control with their counties. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And so let us just get together. Thursday, I hope that the Senate, will show up to our breakfast and everything, and the House, and I'll be there, and I hope we'll have really fruitful discussions at that time. But again, thank you, Senator Blair, President Blair, and thank you all the senators and everything that really, really pushed this thing forward, and now we can really do something.
All right, thanks, John Mark. Mark Curtis, you with us now?
I'm here. I hope you can hear me just fine. Governor, I know you've had your Chief of Staff, Brian Abraham, out front on this, and your Chief Counsel, Berkeley Bentley, but I want to give you the opportunity as the governor to address the issue of the Marshall baseball field. I know you've got 2 degrees from Marshall. You love Brad Smith, the president. You love that school. I believe that's where you met your wife. But in your heart of hearts and in your opinion, based on your advisors, do you think that was a proper expenditure of the money that came out of COVID relief? And I realize some of it can be earmarked for economic development. Are you confident that that money was spent properly, or do you have concerns that Washington, D.C. might take a dim view and say, we want our money back?
Mark, of course, all I can do is rely on all the people around me that vetted it. Mark, you've been around me a long time. The very, very first things I did was to tell all of our people, you dig into this and see if there's a way, because this has been an economic project that will benefit, Marshall University, all the Huntington area, and it's been in the works forever and ever and ever and a day. COVID knocked our legs out from under us. And absolutely, with all in me, then what we did is we went out to 2 outside firms to double, triple check, that we were on rock solid ground. All the people came back to me and said, we're a go. And then we had the committee vote on it and everything. And Ann Erling, I went down there. Nobody really knew why I was really coming. And I went down there and everything to basically be there when I knew what the vote was. From the standpoint, the only thing that I hate about this whole thing is just this. Is people saying, well, he's going to run for Senate and that's why he's doing this. I mean, really, really and truly. I mean, look what we have accomplished since the day that I walked in the door. Do you honest to goodness think that I need anything else to be able to run for the Senate? And why on earth would I want anything except more and more goodness for Marshall University, Huntington, the whole area? I mean, absolutely, if there was a way to do it, absolutely I wanted to try to find a way to do it. In the CARES dollars that we administered here, there was well over $1 billion, $1 billion. And in doing so, I think we handled those dollars correctly all the way through. So with all that being said, I'd like Brian Abraham is on and let him, Mark, just give you his viewpoint again. But without any question in my mind, our folks, I'll promise you, to God above, our folks know that we are going to check it and double check it and double check it. And absolutely that's what we did. Brian, please come on.
Yeah. Thank you, Governor. Mark, as the governor pointed out, early on in the pandemic, there was no playbook for this. Treasury put out the money and then started putting out the guidelines. The governor was the one that came out and said, make sure we get the best of the best when it comes to experts who can guide us through this. So in getting BDO and getting Bailey Glasser, we reached out and made sure that we had opinions that put us on solid ground. As the governor pointed out, money went out to seniors, money went out to hospitals, money went out to our elderly homes. We took care of our National Guard. We made sure we got people vaccinated. All these things were spent. We did economic development. So at the end, it was either send back the last little bit of money or we had expenses we could take against that money. And we did that. And we have firm opinions that say once that money's brought back into the coffers, then we can use it for things like economic development. And as the governor's pointed out, this was a very worthwhile project that I think he was proud to do. And we stand behind those decisions.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Next, we'll go to Steve Adams with Ogden Newspapers.
Steve Adams of all the newspapers here. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to ask because I feel like most of the stuff on the tax plan has been asked. I know you guys aren't obviously trying not to negotiate in public here, but I know there is an issue. At least you campaigned pretty heavily against Amendment 2. Part of their plan now would include that 50% rebate for payment of equipment and inventory taxes paid by West Virginia small businesses. They announced how they were going to define that and how that would be limited to make sure, the big corporations and the big boxes don't really benefit from that. It would specifically be small businesses, sole proprietorships, that sort of thing. Do you think that goes against, though, the will of the voters? I mean, obviously, this is a rebate, so it's going to come out of our tax funds versus hit the counties. Counties would still be kept whole in this, but do you see that being an issue going forward, or is that something you could get behind? Thank you.
Well, Stephen, I'm not going to give you a final answer on that, but I will say just this. If we had not done what we did in regard to Amendment 2, we would have had right now, for all practical purposes, maybe all the counties in this entire state down here begging for money. And that was the whole purpose of my feelings about Amendment 2. In this situation now, the counties will remain whole, and that is really, really, really good. If there's a way to move forward and be able to do things for our small businesses and be able to move forward and do things for the possibility of additional manufacturing or whatever coming to our state, I don't think anybody in the world is turning their nose up at anything about that. What we need to do is first and foremost recognize that the House of Delegates, the good work the House did, and literally within all of that, what I wanted to do is just get us on a pathway. Get us on a pathway of putting real money back into people's hands. Because the people of West Virginia have brung us to the dance. And I say that in slang, but absolutely, those great people of West Virginia for decades and decades brung us to the dance. Now, so with all that being said, let's put money back in their pockets as much as we possibly can. And literally, at the end of the day, they'll absolutely do great stuff with that. And let's do whatever we can to drive as much potential growth to this state as we can. It'll be a great, great celebration. Again, that's all I can say, Stephen. I can't be, I hope I've not dodged your questions and everything, but nevertheless, to me, it's a great, great, great first step.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Next to Caroline McGregor with West Virginia Public Broadcasting.
Good morning, Governor Justice. My question it's also to do with the CARES Act, COVID relief money. There's critics that say states, rush to to use the money by certain deadlines, obviously, to avoid the money returning to the U.S. Treasury. Do you have any regrets or comments on whether this money could have been put to better use, and also a comment on calls for further investigation by Senate Finance Committee Chairman Eric Tarr to look into this further?
Caroline, all I can say is just this. I hope we're past just casting rocks for the sake of casting rocks. I hope we're past the election of Amendment 2 and we really, really hurt our people. Our people spoke when they voted. But with all that being said, along the way, Caroline, think back, right in the middle of COVID and everything, there was folks that said, Governor, what are you holding this money back to the counties? And Governor, send all this money out tomorrow and do this and that and everything else. And with all that, I have to tell you that, Caroline, I don't make decisions shooting from the hip. I don't do that. At the end of the day, I'd really surprise you with what I thought is the best characteristic that I have. And that's the ability to doubt myself. Because what I do is I check stuff and then I double check stuff to make absolutely certain that we're doing the right thing. At the end of the day, we helped the counties and we kept the counties going in a great way. We didn't shut down all of our businesses and everything. We kept the state open for business. We did the right thing that I really believe. You talk to the medical experts and everything, catastrophe could have happened. But we absolutely led the nation in so many different areas in taking care of those that were the most vulnerable of all of us. We did that. We moved immediately when we had the vaccines. Instead of sitting on our hands trying to figure out what to do, we knew this was attacking our elderly, and we moved immediately to get shots in the arms of our elderly. Sure, Caroline, nobody could possibly have done this perfect. Nobody had a playbook. But absolutely, I'll stand rock solid by our people, because this was not a one-man show. This was a show of our people that were all together, our experts, the very best of the best of the best, that absolutely stepped forward and helped us. I can't thank, I can never thank them enough. Really and truly, at the end of the day, Caroline, this was done very, very, very well. Only one can do something and do it perfect. I'll never be that. But literally, this was done really good.
Thanks. Brian, do you want to add something here?
Yes, just as an update, the governor's direction, our BDO folks have reached out and provided all this information since the Senate met the other day. So we think the governor always demands we're transparent. We think we've given them what they probably need to find that we did the right thing here, and we look forward to continuing to convince them of that. Absolutely, the governor ensures we always, as he said, double check and triple check, and we did that here. Now we're going to show the senators that, and I'm sure they'll understand once we provide it.
All right, thanks again, Caroline. And finally, today we'll go to Curtis Johnson with WSAZ.
Hey, thank you so much, Governor. Obviously, I'm upstairs here. Sorry for you've already been asked this. Obviously, the Senate announced its plan this morning. What aspects of that Senate plan do you like, and is it something you can support?
Okay, Curtis, I couldn't understand you really well, but I think you said what aspects do I like, or what can I support, or what
Yeah, what aspects of the Senate plan do you like, and do you think you can support it?
Well, right off the get-go, I like the fact that we've not cut our personal income tax in this state since 1987. And we're on a way now of cutting our personal income tax. That I like for sure. From the standpoint of whether we should have maybe not gone with the car tax right now and gone with a higher personal income tax, well, that's something we'll all talk about. From the standpoint of mechanisms and how we can help others, no matter where, in what area it may be, small business or whatever it may be, absolutely, I want to speak, Curtis, I don't have time to say things like, no matter what's sent up here, it's going to, from the governor, it's going to be dead on arrival. That is crazy talk. At the end of the day, we're here to try to do everything we possibly can for 1,800,000 people out there in West Virginia. You know, and so with all that being said, let's just stay really positive. Let's all know the House has done some great work here. Now the Senate's done some really great work, you know, and let's all now get together and make this become a reality where we are absolutely be able to give real live tax relief to our people. That's good stuff to me.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Governor, back to you.
Well, I really don't know what else to say. You know, I mean, you know, let me touch on COVID just 1 second and just say just this, that I know we're still losing people, and we know we can live with this. I encourage you, like I've done many, many times, about your booster shots and consider getting vaccinated and everything. You know, I know that we're dealing with, you know, with other things, whether it be the flu or RSV or whatever, and you got a lot of folks that are out there and have, you know, been awfully sick, and we pray that they'll get better. And so with all that in me, you know, I'm happy that the Senate has come to us with a proposal, and you know, I can't thank the House enough and can't thank the Senate enough for coming to us with a proposal, and it's a good day. It's a good day that we can find a way to really get on a pathway here to really help our folks and help the people. So good stuff, really good stuff. I was really blessed to be able to see Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and I think it's Sanders. I hope I've got that right. You know, and see her rebuttal. You know, last night. You know, what I'm referring to is the ending, where she talked about that flight to Iraq and the president speaking to the troops that were so far away, and to be perfectly honest, probably many thoughts of who in the world even knows we're here, and who in the world is really concerned about us. And tomorrow, we're going to be out and people shooting at us and everything, while people are enjoying their Christmas presents and stuff like that back home. And gosh knows I'd love to be with my family back home. You know, America is such a special, special place. And we celebrate our freedoms, and we celebrate the goodness that we do with one another all the time. Let's keep on doing good stuff here in West Virginia. Literally, at the end of the day, I'm going to run through the finish line and continue to try to help in every way I possibly can. You know, from my standpoint, you know, anybody that would evaluate this would say, you walked in the door, things were pretty doggone tough, and then all of a sudden now we're on this rocket ship ride like nobody's business, and we want to just make it better and better and better. That's what we need to do. That's exactly what we need to do. So I'm really happy, and we're on our way. So thank you so much, and West Virginians, you're the best. You're always the best. Thank you.